Hey everybody, are we excited about class today? Everybody's kind of jumping in. If you want to say a hi and where you're from, that would be awesome. I'm so happy to see everybody. My name is Joy and I'm with Cricut and I'm going to be teaching you how to do a fall banner today. So where do we have people from? We have Manchester, New Hampshire, Long Beach, California, New Jersey, San Pedro, California, and we have somebody from Georgia. I know my mom's signing in. She's from South Carolina. And we have, oh, it's going fast. Now we have Louisiana, Houston. I hope everybody's good in Louisiana and Houston. I'm glad to see you here. Orlando, Florida, Las Vegas. I saw a little thumbs up. Are you good? Everything's good? And we have Whidbey Island in Washington. Oh, that must be beautiful. And Orlando, Apple Valley, California. You guys are welcome to show your faces if you want, or leave your video off. I'm gonna, as we're teaching, I will try to pay attention to all the questions. Stacy's also gonna help. She's with Michaels, and she'll help us get through all your questions. I'm gonna walk you step by step through the class. So again, my name is Joy McDonnell, and I am with Cricut. And I am welcoming you to the class, and we'll go ahead and kind of get started, allowing more people to come in as we go. But I'll just give you an overview of what we're gonna do and how we're gonna make everything work. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be making a harvest banner, and I'm gonna share my screen real quick so that you can see what this harvest banner will look like, and we'll talk a little bit about the supplies that you need and what we're going to make. This particular project is a Make It Now project in Design Space, which means that you can sign into Design Space. Anybody can come in, and we're making this a free class or a free Make It Now project for everybody today, because we want you to, since you're watching the class, we want you to be able to make this project. So it's really cute. And as we enter our second day of September, we're getting ready for fall. Out here in Utah, it's getting a little chilly. So there's some cute little pieces to this particular banner. We're going to be cutting with this faux leather and creating a little vignette of pieces. We're going to do some drawing with a marker. So we're going to use the maker today. And our supplies are going to include, if you're gonna make this project with the Make It Now free opportunity, you're going to need pebbled faux leather. It comes in lots of different colors. I'm using a brown, orange, sort of peachy color combination in this project. So we're gonna need some cardstock, and I'm gonna show you, Michaels has an awesome deal on cardstock right now, so I'll show you what that is too. I was super happy to find that. You're going to need a standard grip mat for your machine and a light grip mat. I'm also using white glue along with adhesive foam dots, and also adhesive dots, some brads, ribbon, and the gold marker, of course. So I want to show you a pretty picture of the pebbled faux leather, just to kind of get you in the mood of what this looks like, and then we'll talk about what it feels like and how it acts. It's got kind of like a little fabric backing to it. And it is available on michaels.com. So visit michaels.com to purchase your faux leather. And then just for fun, I have one extra project that you could make. If you really like cutting out this piece, you can use it on a gift bag with the same pieces of your cardstock and all the other items that we have. It's just a second use of all the things that you're using. So let's get started. I'll just show you in real life. The leather looks like this, and kind of like a interfaced backing on it. We're working with it. We're going to put the shiny side down onto the mat, and we're using a standard grip mat for cutting the faux leather. For our cardstock, we'll use the light grip mat to do our cutting. So let me exit out of my presentation so that I can come to Design Space. How, just like in the chat, let's see, how many people are familiar with Design Space and have used Design Space already? Do we have a lot of people who know? Thumbs up, yay. Okay, that kind of gives me, I think we'll extend that, yeah, a little bit of time for the free opportunities that if you need to get your supplies, you'll still be able to get all your supplies. Yeah. Okay, so some people are brand new. Some people have used this before. Let me share my screen and take you to Design Space. And I've already got a project that is, this is our project and it's already kind of started. I'm gonna look like I'm looking away, but I'm really not looking away from you. I have another screen that's going. So I was working with some of the cuts already, and we're gonna cancel this cut as I was prepping and getting ready. So I wanna come back out of here and take you to Design Space itself. Now within this is how it looks when you sign into Design Space. So it will say, welcome, and your name. My first name is Virginia, so I have Virginia here. It also gets a little confusing with the Cricut Joy and having Joy. People get a little confused at what I'm showing. So you're gonna make a choice about which machine you're using. This is like one of the most important things that you need to know how to do. Today we are using the Maker. So we have the Maker clicked, and so as you look at this website, you have all kinds of ideas right here at the top. And I can take a quick step back. For those of you who haven't downloaded Design Space yet, if you go to Cricut.com and on the far right of the website, you'll see design. If you click there, you can download this. It's basically an app that goes onto your computer. And then you would put that into your applications folder, and then you'll open it up and you'll see all of these things. So right now we add projects all the time in Design Space. So we've added some new cards that go with Cricut Joy. We've added some more infusible ink projects. We have projects that go with the Maker tools, all kinds of things that you can find in here, whether it's a vinyl project or an iron-on project or a paper project, they're all in here. So, but for today, since we're using a Make It Now, we're going to go to New Project over here in the corner. And that takes me to this screen right here, where I'm gonna click on Projects. If you look at the left side, I'm circling where that is right now. So I wanna go into Projects, and these are projects that are already prepared for you. And you can see that Zoe Deschanel is starting to use her Cricut Joy too, which is sort of fun. And I'm going to do a search projects because I already know kind of what I want to do, but I could go into all categories here and see all kinds of things that are ready, whether that's by the type of the material that I want to use, or the type of product that I want to use, or the type of project that I want to use. So this is kind of, we're trying to make it searchable in all the different ways that you might want to search. But for me today, I'm just going to type in fall banner and hit enter. And there are a lot of choices that we have, but I really liked this one down here that we're going to do today. So when you click on this, it's going to give you the name of what the project is. You have some arrows here. If you just guide your mouse up to the top, you can see these little dots, which means there are more pictures for you to see. So you can kind of flip through and see like, okay, how's it gonna look? Do I wanna do that? And what's it gonna look like when I get into Design Space? And this is what it's gonna look like there. As you scroll down, you'll find a description of the project, the finished size of the project. You'll also see what are the and what are all the other materials that I need, and any preparation that you need to do, any assembly. And if you're kind of a little bit more advanced in Design Space, You also get the images and fonts that are used in this project. So if you see this project and you think, oh, that's super cute, but I would really like to change it a little bit, this gives you all the little breadcrumbs for what was used in this one. So you're not having to research for everything. Okay, so I am going to hit customize down here at the bottom because I want to show you what it looks like when you get into Design Space. And you have a little bit of information about what each of these projects are going to look like. And I can use the slider bar down at the very bottom to kind of go across and see, okay, I'm going to make two banners that have a cream background. I'm going to do one that has writing in it. I'm going to do the pine cone leaf situation. So this gives you kind of the idea. Along the side over here in the layers, this shows you all of the different pieces that you're going to be cutting. If for some reason you don't want to cut all of the pieces, you could click on the eye, and what that does is that just takes that one out of the project. But I'm going to leave everything in the project because we're going to go as if you just don't want to change anything. You like it just the way it is. So up here in the right corner, I can see, yes, I've got my correct machine selected, and I just want to go ahead and make it. So now Design Space takes all those little parts and pieces that you saw and puts them onto mats for you. And it assorts it using the best use of the space that you have. Now for class today, we're not going to cut everything, but we'll cut the faux leather. We're going to do this one. And then I'm going to cut this brown one down here that has the drawing on it too, so that you can kind of see the two. And then I have all the pieces already cut so that we can work through the assembly and make everything within the hour that we have. Okay, so are we excited? All right, let's get started. I am going to, so I'm going to keep sharing this, and you can see you have the vision right here of my Cricut machine, and this is the project that I've already made. I'm going to kind of clean this up a little bit so that we can get our materials out. I want to talk to you a little bit about the different mats that I'm using for this project. There are many different types of mats that Cricut makes. So if you're wondering what does standard grip mean, what does light grip mean, these are the different types. We color them so that you can kind of get the idea of like, oh, I know what the green mat does, I know what the blue mat does. But also along the top here, it says standard grip, light grip. The pink one is for fabrics, and strong grip is the purple one. That's really if you're going to do something with something heavy duty, like a craft cardboard or something that needs to really down, like balsa wood or anything like that. So for today's projects, we're going to use the standard grip and the light grip. And for the pebbled leather, we're going to go for the standard grip. We need just a little bit harder grip in our project. So I'm going to take the cover off. Now, don't lose these. I'm a big person who ends up losing these. So try to put it somewhere where you can see it when you go back to use that. All right, this is our pebbled leather. And like I said, it's got that fabric backing and this front, and this is online. So make sure that you are shopping in the right place. And we're gonna put the shiny side down. It comes in a 12 by 24 inch piece, and you will actually need 2 rolls to make the whole project. So I'll get this down, and I'm just a tiny bit crooked, but I think that's okay. Now, if you're nervous, if you feel like your mat, you've used it a lot, and you can kind of tell when it's an older mat, sometimes things will pick up off the sides. If anything is coming up for you, I use a little bit of frog tape and just put that, or painter's tape. You can put that across if you're at all concerned that maybe that's not sticking quite like you would like it to stick. Okay, so in my maker, I have the fine point tip blade in my B compartment over here. Now, if you're familiar with the maker, you know it comes with all kinds of different blades. I'm just using the fine blade. And now let's go back and am I still sharing my screen that you can see the design space? I think I am. You can see it. Okay, so over here in design space, I am going to hit continue. And this is going to start to ask me a couple of questions. It's going to say, what type of material are you using? Now, I did a save and I've already got the types of material that I'm using up here. But if it's not showing up, you go to browse materials and you can go through all these different materials and see, you know, there's so many choices. And I'm using the, I think it's under leather, yep. There's a leather and it's called paper thin. And I've already started. So if you want something that, if you use something over and over again, then you would go to the one that's starred. Okay, or you would click the star. So see, I could put faux suede, things like that. So I've got that already selected. And I'm just gonna close this. We're gonna go to the faux leather paper and I am gonna put on a little tiny bit more pressure. And now everything is ready. Back over at my Cricut machine, my light is blinking, which says go ahead and load your project. So I'll load my project in. This has a little tape on the bottom from how it was attached to the roll. And then it goes right into cutting. So it says I'm ready to cut. So all I do is press this button that is blinking and just say, okay, go for it. So it's going to be a little bit loud. I'm hoping we can talk while it's cutting and you guys can watch it. But it's going to cut the banner and then it's going to do the fall leaves out of it. So at this point, I think I will stop sharing my design space screen. Right now you can see that it's cutting and then it'll say 100% cut and it'll tell me to unload. So I think that's probably good for that part. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Yes, we do have some questions. A lot of people are wondering if they could do this project on their Explore too.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's the fine point blade. So if you have an Explore, you can do it there too. The Explore also takes the pen. So absolutely, we're not doing anything that is maker only. So you can use whichever one. So somebody, it looks like you have a question. If it doesn't look like it cut through the leather, can you recut before pulling the mat out? And yes, the answer is yes. If you feel like that doesn't look right, don't unload your mat. Just repress the button to cut all over again. It'll cut right where it was again. That way you can avoid any mistakes, any potential mistakes. But I'll show you how to kind of peel this back and make sure that you're okay. And if we needed to, you could go back again. Somebody else asked, if we save this project in our design space, will it always be free to us? I think they're just making it free for a certain amount of time because it's a make it now project. So I would say you're probably good for the week for doing it. And yes, you could do this with just paper and vinyl. You don't have to use this. You could use like a glittery cardstock if you wanted to. You could, your imagination is your only thing that will hold you back. The button that I pushed for the cut is the button that has the C with the antennas, the little Cricut button. So that one is just on the side. So there's like really 3 buttons that are over there. There's the load and unload button, and then the one that does the cutting, and then a pause button. So if you see something where you're like, oh no, that's not gonna be right, and you want to hit pause, then it'll take it back in design space so that you can restart, or you can have a chance to go back and recut or do whatever you need to do. So what this is doing is it's cutting that intricate piece with all the leaves on it. And it's also cutting the outline pieces that we'll need. And it's cutting a few leaves. So in the project that we're doing, actually I'll do it right here so you can see that a little bit better. In the project, we have these leaves that are coming from the leather, and this leaf down here is cardstock. And then the leather also outlines the edge of the paper. And then this one is the cut, just all leather glued on top of the paper. My ribbon is burlap, so it has like all these extra hairs on it. And then this is the writing that says Home Sweet Home. And then we have another leather and another little pine cone one. Okay, so it looks like we have done all of our cutting, and like the gal, whoever asked, you know, if you're nervous at all, can you just peel back a piece and see? But you can see this is really cut nicely, so I'm not at all concerned that I would need to cut a second time. So I'll go ahead and press the unload button and take that out. And then since I put this little piece of painter's tape on, I'll just take it off, and I can use that over and over and over again. So that should be fine. And this is such a great material. It just comes right away from that mat really nicely. And this is one piece that we need for the outlining. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see everything. This is the outline piece, so we need this one. And then what's left on the inside, this is a scrap now, and that could be saved for another project. If you wanted to cut more leaves or anything, you could do that. And then this more intricate piece, I'll show you how nicely this comes off. Usually I would say the best way to take something off of your mat is to turn everything over. But with this faux leather, you can just, it's a fabric kind of material, so it just comes right off very nicely. And you'll see that those little branches that we need are cut right inside this piece. So we have some of those branches that are left on here. So I'll wiggle this up. So this is my whole beautiful outline piece. And he looks kind of messy right now, but don't worry, that will be beautiful. And then we have, so now we have these leaves that are on here. We'll save all of those. And then we need the branches, these two big branches that come off. So we'll save those. And then everything else is, we don't need, that's extras. So you would just take that off your mat, and it's kind of an interesting shape. If you were going to do anything camouflagey, you could reuse that. But for me, for right now, I'm just going to take these off. I'm not going to save those probably. Are you guys good scrappers? Do you use every piece? Some folks are so good. They're so creative. They can figure out what you could do with every piece. I'm always so impressed. Okay, so this is where you remember to get that little cover and put that back on top so that, you know, your hair or the cat's hair or the kid's hair doesn't stick into everything. So we have the leather cut, and now we need to cut the cardstock. And I want to go ahead and show you this great deal that I found at Michael's. I thought was awesome. So at Michael's, they have, if you buy one of these blocks of cardstock, you get 2 for free. So I picked up a couple of, you know, one with some cute designs. If you did this with some pretty designs in the background, that would be adorable. And then I have an extra so I can make plenty of banners. So I can maybe make one for some family or some friends around town. Okay, I'm rolling all over my mats. All right, so let's get out. Now, what I liked the most about this paper is that it has, I'm hoping the camera can kind of see it. Can we catch it? It's embossed paper. So it's got all these fun little embossed designs. And the pebbled leather comes in a great blue color too. So that is super cool. All right, so we need a brown. Let's see what we got. just gonna go back here and I'll pick this one. And I like it when the cardstock is all in a tablet and I can just save that off to the side. And this time we're going to use the light grit mat. So I have one already over here that doesn't have its cover on it. And we'll just put the cardstock into the corner the same way. Now this one, we're going to do a little cutting and drawing. So when you put your paper on your mat, you want to just make sure it's all the way down. So just rub it to make sure it's all the way down. And because I am going to be doing the drawing, I need my gold pen. This one is the medium tip 1.0 gold. And I'm going to put that into the A side, the A clamp on my machine. And when you put this in, you do need to press it down just a little bit so that you hear the click. And then the machine will do both the cutting and the drawing. So let's go back and share this screen so that you can see how I am choosing. All right, so you can see that all the different mats are up here. So I can choose which mat I want to cut next. And you also have the choice in our directions right here. It does say make sure mirror is turned on and faux leather material is shiny side down. I didn't turn on the mirroring because I felt like if I just did it all with the mirroring off, it would be fine. So just make sure, just make a choice. You're going to turn on the mirroring or you're not going to turn on the mirroring. But since it doesn't have any words, you're okay. All right, so we're going to go down here to this mat that has the cut and the draw. So we'll click on that one. And I have to change my paper because now I'm working on cardstock. I'm not working on that faux leather anymore. So I'm going to go medium cardstock and I'm going to leave the pressure on default. And it tells me right here, you're going to need to have a gold pen and you need to have the fine point blade. And it tells you exactly which clamps they need to be in. So back at my machine, it's already blinking and ready for me to load my material in. So I'm going to press this arrow and load the material in. And then it goes right to the blinking with the Cricut C. And I'll press that. And now it will do the pen work and then it will do cutting. And I don't even have to take the pen out. So first will be this pen. And I always kind of lean forward to make sure, is it drawing? Did I put it all the way in? Because this is a good moment where you could stop and start again if you didn't get that pen all the way in to get the click. Now, just to show you, with that pen, it turns out really, really nicely. Now, I like to think I have good handwriting, but certainly this is better than my handwriting. So it looks really pretty. It comes out, and it's just that tip. And it didn't smear when I took it right out. So that was good too. So we're gonna watch it do the cutting. I'm sorry, the drawing and then the cutting. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing the design space because I think just show you it's running through its process. Has anybody used the pen before? Have you guys all done that? Or have you not put the pen in before? You've been too scared. You're like, I don't think it's gonna turn out as well as you think it's gonna turn out. But you'd be amazed because sometimes I'm a doubter because I've been crafting a long time and I'm like, it's not gonna make it look that nice. And it does. Look at that. It looks beautiful already. So now it's switching and it's cutting. So it did it without me having to touch anything. Don't be too scared. I saw somebody say, I'm too scared. The nice thing is if you have scraps or anything, put the pen in, put your scraps in, and just go for it. And what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You made something look ugly on a scrap? That's okay. Then you're at least learning and you're getting comfortable. So I always tell people, play around in design space. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. And when you understand how design space works, that's when you get the most out of your machine. So Oh, I see somebody says, I haven't even opened my box from Christmas. Hopefully this will get you motivated, and you'll see, because you have a free project to make and everything, just hook it up. It's super easy to do. Okay, so I've just ejected it. I'm gonna go ahead and take the pen out of the clamp just because I like to keep the tops on my pens, they don't dry out. And then we'll see here that that gives us, now again, this is when you should turn your mat over and take your excess material off of your mat this way. It's just better for your material, it's better for the mat. They'll have a little less curling. So I'm just gonna flip this one more time, and you can see how those just lift right off. It gives me the leaves and the writing. And there we go. So now my little cover is behind that hook, so it won't get all gross. Okay, somebody else said they're scared to try anything. You've got, yes, it's easy, try it. Like, if you're afraid of it, it's just, you're creating that in your own mind. You won't wreck anything. Just use things you kind of don't really care about, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so now we have all of the pieces and everything. I'm just gonna close up the maker just so that we have a little bit more space to work on here. And I'm also gonna go back. Let's just do the share screen one more time and look at Design Space, because if we go back to Design Space, I'm just gonna hit cancel on the cut. Yes, I want to cancel the cut. If we come back to this part, we can now see how to put the pieces together. So the two leaves are going to come together with the bigger leaf, and actually the branch goes on there too. And then these pieces will go on like this. So we have about 30 minutes, and I'm going to show you how to put everything together, because this is the fun part. All right, I've got, like I said, I've got things a little bit ready to go for us, just in case we run out of time. But this is what the leaf pieces look like when they're applied to the cardstock. And I'll show you how I did that, because in the directions it says to use a hot glue gun, but I'm a fan of white glue. It works just as well. And this is a like tiny little strip. So I felt like it was a little bit easier to use the white glue. And you can get Aileen's craft glue, you can get Elmer's glue, any of those will work. It's, we're not making this for archival purposes, so you don't have to worry about if it'll last forever and ever. But I just run a little bead of glue along the top just to get it started. And then take this intricate piece that has all this kind of rolling to it. And you guys let me know if I'm not in a good spot, that you can't see what I'm doing. And I just kind of push it down into the glue. The nice thing is you want a glue that's going to dry clear. And because this is a little bit flexible, you can sort of smush it into place. And then just kind of get that main part tacked down. And then just go through and finish doing the outside edges. I'm gonna get my glue going. And I'll do right down that middle. The wonderful thing about Cricut is that everything cuts to the size just perfectly. So it's not like you have to go back and retrim anything or fix anything. It just really fits nicely. And see how that white glue holds it? It's got that fabric backing. So, and I lifted it up there. That's okay, because we'll just put it back down. Okay. And like I said, I like just the clear glue. That way everything is gonna, if I make a mistake and I get any glue on the outsides, it's not a tragedy. It'll dry clear and nobody will see. Now I can also see that maybe I didn't lift out a little piece here that I should have. So let's get that out of here. And I think it looks cool with the leather and then the embossing bits on there. I think that looks kind of cool. Now, I did go back in with each of these parts because I can lift it back and just added a little touch of glue, just little drips. You don't need a whole bunch of glue. When I used to teach kids, they'd be amazed at how much glue they'd put on something. You know, the whole bottle right there on the top. You only need a little bit. And then just go ahead and press that into place, and that will glue your whole piece down. And if I got anything that was sort of like a straggler or something that I didn't want, I could use my weeding tool. Like I got a little extra glue right here. I can just pick some of that up with my weeding tool and clean that out. So this is something you do want to hold down a little bit with your fingers. So it'll take you a few minutes to get this all in place, but you can see that the process is pretty simple, and you would make 2 of these. So when you do all of your cuts, you're going to end up with 2 of the leather ones with the floral on top. So somebody's asking what tools come with the maker. When you purchase your maker, you're getting, I have to remember, you're getting the fine point blade, and I believe you're getting the rotary cutter with it. But the excess tools like these, you would buy these separately. So any of the scissors and the weeding tools and the little spatulas and things, those come separately. Okay, so that is one set of the pieces that we need. And then the other pieces that we need to do, you would do the same thing with 2 of the orange pieces and put the leather around the outside using the white glue. So you'll end up with 2 orange pieces and 2 white pieces. And then on our last orange piece, and this was me being highly prepared, I have extra pieces. So on our last orange piece, we are going to put our Home Sweet Home. And that has a white rectangle that goes behind it. Now, with this one, we're going to add brads to this. So I'm just going to put 1 glue dot in the center of this. This is just the glue dots adhesive. I'm going to put 1 in the center and just kind of hold these 2 together. And again, this is where you can wiggle things around a little bit. And then I'm going to put 4 brads on the corners. And I got this little set of brads. This was like on a little end cap near the scrapbooking area. So these were nice. I'll pick up, and I think I'll pick the ones that look a little bit more of like gunmetal-ish. I need 4 of those. And then I'm going to leave my seat for a moment because I forgot to bring over my handy dandy helper for doing my brads. You can also do eyelets. You would need an eyelet setter tool and punch the holes, but I'm going to show you how to do the whole project with brads. So one moment, I'm going to run over and get a pokey thing. I'll be right back. You always feel like that's the moment. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just trying to fill some time while you were doing that. I just wanted to remind everyone that this class is being recorded. So if you miss anything or you want to go back and rewatch it, it's available tomorrow at michaels.com/classes. Back to you, Joy.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. So this is a new tool that Cricut just came out with. It's a weeding tool that has different tips that go on the ends. And what I ran and got was a little styrofoam, an old piece from a cooler. I like this because I can punch holes into my paper without, you know, sticking my finger behind it and hurting myself. So this has different weeding tips that you can put onto it. So, and it also has a knife blade. So it works just like a pen, and you can just change out these tips. So this is a really cool tool to have. I am going to use this long knife like poking. Can you guys see that? It's got like a pokey bit on it. And on edges of where that pen drew, I'm just gonna go ahead and poke into here. Now, back in the olden days of scrapbooking, there were all kinds of special mats that you had that you could use for this kind of stuff. But like I said, this, you know, it's been summer, so I have just pieces of cooler and they're hanging around. So now I can just put the brads in and open those up. I just want them to go diagonal so that they're kind of covering the back there. And we'll do that for all 4 corners. And then this is where we need that foam adhesive. The foam adhesive is going to allow the brads to kind of live in the background without getting too bumpy when you put it down onto your project. So this is going to go into a center right here. I am going to use foam adhesive that I got at Michael's too. And we'll just take off 4 of these and slide them behind. And I kind of put them near the brads, but they don't have to go right exactly on the brads, which is nice. Okay. And then expose that again. And then this piece goes into, right into the center of this orange one. So I like using a self-healing mat because it does help me kind of center things. Hopefully that's centered. Okay, so now let's do our pine cone pieces on our orange guys. They are over here. And this is easier to build on your banner. So once you have that leather on, then it's easier to build on here. And I'm just using the glue dots. I could use the white glue, but I do like the glue dots. So just putting those down just to hold that in place. That will go into the center. And then I'll put 1 more glue dot right here on the front, because that's when I take those leaves that we cut from the pebbled leather and put those, you know, however I kind of want those to look. It can be kind of off to the side a little bit. And then I like this branch right here in the middle. And then of course, we need a little bow to go over the top of all of that to make that look super pretty. Now I have this bow already tied, but I worked with Martha Stewart for a while, and she taught me how to tie a bow really nice and easily. So I'm going to show you what she taught me. So you have your piece of ribbon, and you just take and make 2 little loops. And this is a good way to get the printing showing on the right side. Can you guys see that okay? I think you can. So then you're going to take the 2 little loops and just tie one right over the other, and let those pieces flop out there. And then I'll bring my little ears through and then start to tighten it, but then pull back so that your loops start to get more of a pretty loopy feel to them. And then this little piece, I want that print to show. So I'm just gonna twist it back there in the back of the bow. And then you can just pull that tight, however you would like it to be, however big you want those ears to be, and that little bow. And then we'll put that right on to the center here. Nice and easy. How cute is that? Now we have that fun pine cone whole look going on. Can you guys see all that layering? Isn't that pretty? Oh, so somebody said they use a mouse pad instead of a styrofoam block. That would be a great idea. That would be a good one. So, so I think we have time to make 1 more of these, and then I'll show you how I strung together. Now, in the project itself, it shows using a sewing machine and fancy stuff, but I think you can kind of keep it simple and not do all the sewing and just add these on this way. They sewed, so in Design Space, our Cricut designers sewed around the edge here. If you are an expert crafter and you like to sew on paper, that is a cute little addition there. They also used the eyelets in the corners, which look really pretty, but I thought for what we're trying to do here in class, all that banging might not be the best idea. So I thought, how can we use the brads instead? So let me show you. And again, this ribbon I thought was really cute because it's got like a little bit of, it's got a nice, like, burlap texture to it. Sorry, I'm dropping out my audio. Okay. So now this, I took a nice long piece and just gave it a cut and gave my piece a little bit of an ending. Now you might want to leave more because you're going to tie it up somewhere, so that's fine. We're going to go back to the styrofoam piece, our little helper, and just punch styrofoam, just punch corners right here through this leather. And then always remember to put the lids on things. I can't tell you how many times I've hurt myself because I didn't put the lid on a blade. All right, so then because this ribbon is so porous, I could just go right in, and I picked the little black brads and put that through. And that just goes right through everything. And then they get closed, opened. What do you call that? I think opening. All right. And you can pull it tight, kind of pull it a little taut behind. And then do the next one. I just put that right there. And then using your handy dandy mat, this is what I like. You can take your next piece and just measure, you know where your inch is going to be. And you could take some of that ribbon and put it on top instead of putting it behind, and that would look pretty. So you can assemble all the pieces however you'd like, but we're just punching those holes and then using the brad to put those together. So I'll show you the finished one. So you can imagine you would have to do that same process for all of them to get that finished. And here we have the whole completed one with the drawing and all of our little pieces. And that just says Home Sweet Home. And it's a cute little fall banner for you to add for this season. I can't believe it's September already. All right, so that gives us about 10 minutes extra for any questions. If you need me to go back and show anything, I'm happy to go back and help with anything where you might have a question left. And yes, that was a piece of styrofoam board. That was just from a cooler from this summer. This is where crafters, we save like everything. We always have a little piece of something because that's how we, I don't know, it's always how we always have our little things we need. The name of the pen that we use for the details, the pen it's a medium tip in gold. So it's like a marker. Can you see that? What's the best way to show that? There you go. It looks like a marker felt tip instead of a fine tip. You want it to be able to kind of hit and spread out when it draws. I'm totally new. How do I pull this in tomorrow once I've purchased the supplies? Oh, so let's go back to Design Space real quick. I'll share my screen for anybody who is wondering how to get the project. Okay, so actually, if you're totally new and you haven't downloaded Design Space, okay, I'm gonna stop sharing real quick. Where did my mouse go? Stop sharing this. And I'm going to share something a little bit different. I'm gonna show you how to go to Cricut.com and find this. I almost took myself accidentally out of the Zoom meeting. All right, so we'll do a share screen here. So now this is just my regular Google, and I'm gonna type in Cricut.com. And that takes me here to Cricut website. And if you go right here to the very top right corner and click design, you'll see now, it already knows, it's so smart. It knows whether you are on a Mac or a PC. I'm on a Mac. So I would click download. There would be a file that downloads to my computer. And then you take that file and put that into your applications file. And then you'll have Design Space on your computer. So we'll go back here to Design Space. I'm gonna reshare again. And in Design Space, let's say you wanna start a new project. This project already exists on the canvas with unsaved changes. I think I can go ahead and replace this because I didn't change anything really when I made the project. So now if you want to just browse or look at anything, you would go over here to projects, and then you can find all the different projects that are in Design Space. And sometimes I like to search by the categories. So let's say I want to do something for Halloween. There are all kinds of ideas in here for Halloween. And then, oh, and if you're totally new to Design Space also, let me just kind of forewarn you. You'll see these A's on the side. I have a subscription, so I have access to everything. If you don't have a subscription, you can choose to purchase projects kind of a la carte, or you can sign up for a subscription, and then you could use as many different things as you want. So you can just see how many different options are on there. But in order to find that fall banner, you can just go to search projects and type in fall banner. And then we'll scooch down here to find the banner. Where'd he go? Oh, I'm in Halloween. I got to go back up to all categories. Then fall banner. And there it is. So you would click on that, and then you don't even have to click on customize. You can click straight to make it. And then it gives you those mats, just like I was showing earlier, and that's where you cut them. And it'll tell you exactly which mat is which. So you'll see that you're cutting 8 total mats, and one has the cut and draw. The thing that you do need to remember is to make sure that you are choosing your the type of material that you're cutting on. Remember, for the faux leather, it's the paper thin. And when you get ready to do the cardstock, I did medium cardstock, even though the cardstock I was using has a little embossing on it. I went ahead and did a little extra pressure, and everything came out perfectly. Okay. So let's see. What's the best way to store the pens? Okay, so you can see I'm a huge pen lover. I work with pens all the time. Honestly, what I did right here, the worst, oh, see, I didn't do it. Storing your pens horizontal is the best way to store your pens. If you store your pens straight up and down, the ink will go to the back of the pen. And then you may think your pen is dried out, but really if you just let it sit like this for a day or so, your ink will come back down to the top of your pen. But honestly, the best way to store pens is horizontal. So this is the Michael's desk, and I just took some pen caddies, and now I have all my pens right at my fingertips. So that's a good way to store your pens. I guess it would be called laying down. Okay. Any other questions? For those of you who were concerned or scared to take your machine out of the box, are you feeling a little bit more confident, like you could do it? I'm gonna say yes, yes, we can. All right. We have about 3 more minutes. Any other questions, or you guys are all saying thank you? That's so nice. I appreciate everybody taking their time to join me today and to go through this project. I love crafting. I love making things. I've been doing it since I was a kid. My mother was a great storer of all kinds of fun little trinkets, and we just played. And I think that is the most important thing about this machine. I know it combines technology and crafting, but you should play. You should just get in there and try it, and don't be afraid of anything. And Cricut.com, or I'm sorry, on YouTube, Cricut has a ton of videos. You can watch those videos. This particular class will be saved at michaels.com. You can just get into YouTube and watch so many things, so many good ideas. I have a maker and I have to increase the pressure on normal cardstock for it to cut through. Is this normal? It depends how long you've been using your maker. Something that is important is to take out your, now my A-clamp is tight, but sometimes you want to just take out your blade and check to make sure that there's no dust or debris up in here, and just keep it clean. The other thing is that if you're having a little bit of trouble making things cut nicely, you might need a new mat. The mats they can wear out over time, so you might need a new mat, or you might just need a new blade. All right, you guys, I think we nailed it right on the minute. I appreciate your time. We are going to be doing another class, so keep checking back at Michael's. I think our next class is going to be t-shirts. We're going to make some fall t-shirts, some fun fall sayings, things for us to wear with scarves and sweaters, and kind of get ready for the cooler weather. And I think that this last question I do want to answer. Which do I prefer? Well, my name is Joy, and that's the Cricut Joy. So I do kind of have an affinity for the little one. I seem to pull it out a lot, very often. However, it depends on what project I'm working on. If something is thicker or heavier, then I'm going to go for the maker. If it's just a quick, easy peasy, I'm going to use the Air 2. So whichever machine you have, you're going to be happy with it. Okay? All right, everybody. And Stacy and Michaels, thank you so much for having me. I hope you have a great rest of your day and you do something with your Cricut today.